Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Mama Tales. I don't have much to talk about this week other than, this suffering from this Nairobi weather that's just freezing. I really don't do well with the cold, but I'm grateful that at least this year my baby is quote unquote all grown up. Last year she was such a tiny little thing. I felt like keeping her warm was such a struggle. Right now though, I can easily tell if she's too warm or too cold and quickly fix it. And also, I think it helps her that she moves around quite a lot. So she's always kind of warm, I think. And then also exciting stuff. She kind of said her first word, well, other than the normal dada and the very sadly occasional mama that comes here and there. So her new word is now thank you. Granted, if you hear it, you might not know that that's you might not know that that is what she's saying. And I've seen a lot of moms do this where they understand their babies and you as a bystander have no clue what that child just said. It took us a while for us to also pick it up and understand that she's saying thank you, because she mumbles quite a lot, but then there was this set of mumbles that she kept repeating over and over and over again until I noticed that was a pattern, but I didn't know exactly what word she was trying to say until one time she handed me something and I said, thank you. And she repeated it. She repeated I will butcher it if I try and say it here, so I won't. But she repeated something that sounded like that. Granted, I don't think she really understands where to use it or how to use it, but she's excited that we are excited when she says it. So she says it to everything now. But to her credit, she mostly says it when she gives me something or wants something from me, so that I can say thank you back. But it's amazing to just watch her grow. Anyways, our story this week comes from Linda. She's a friend of mine from way back in high school. So I was really excited when she reached out like day one when I was asking for stories. And she said she wanted to actually be part of the podcast. Just as a heads up, her story can be a little hard to listen to. She talks about struggling with finding out that she was pregnant and receiving very little support from those around her, including the father of her baby. She also does mention abortion, which I know can be triggering for others, but a reality for so many mothers. She also talked about a lot of the sacrifices that she's had to make as a full-time mom while trying to find that balance between self-care, motherhood, and being a partner to someone else. So we had a very long conversation and I felt like it would be better to split it into 2 parts. So the second part will be coming in the next episode. All right, let's jump into Linda's story.
So my name is Linda Owiso Itendera. I am a mom of 1. My son is 4 years old and I'm soon to be married. So before I got pregnant, I had an ovarian cyst. And before I actually realized I was pregnant, I had issues with the cyst. It had grown so big and it was giving me a very irregular menstrual period and pain in on my back, and let's say pain during sexual intercourse. So I was like, there's something wrong, It's not me. I'm not in pain. I don't have the bowel movements also are very weird. So I said, let me go and get checked. So I went and they said, oh, you have a very big cyst. We'll put you on meds and then we'll see where it goes from here. So I asked, will it go away naturally or I have to get it surgically removed? And essentially most of the time, it's a very common thing, but usually most of the time it depends with how also the cyst presents itself. So they said, you just go home and just relax. It will go away, and then we'll be checking with time with appointments. We'll go and see maybe how if it has grown or reduced in size. So mine actually was gaining some weight. So I had so much pain in my pelvic. Walking was a problem. I had leg cramps. It was so uncomfortable. And during this time, I was also pregnant, but they couldn't see my pregnancy. They were just seeing the cyst. Finally, we went for a scan, a CT scan. You can imagine that's very dangerous for a pregnant woman. So the guy in there was like, wait, there's something wrong. So when I came out, I was swollen. You see, there's some liquid they usually inject you with before you go for the scan. You usually get something injected, like it's like gel. It's very painful. So when you go inside, it like outlines all of your organs. So it's very painful because of the, let me say, the weight. Since
Uh-huh.
gel is a bit, so like pushing it against your blood, it's very painful. So my reaction was nearly swell. So they're like, what's happening? There's something wrong. So a doctor came in and said, let me just test you for, like, if you're pregnant, and let's see, maybe it
Okay.
could be. So later, do you know, I was 8 weeks through my pregnancy. I was like 2 months.
What? And it was missed this entire
Two,
time. You did not feel
it
any.
was missed. Nothing.
Uh,
I had no cravings, no morning sickness. I never have it. I never
mhm.
had it. And I don't know how it feels like. It was so
Uh-huh.
normal. So 2 months. And I was like, yo, you people, 2 months. What if I'm not sure I want to keep this baby? 2 months is gone and I'm not
Yeah.
even ready. Plus, I am not married. So this is like, having to call the person responsible and having
Yeah.
him aboard, and tell him, what, blah, blah, blah. 2 months, I was told, you just go home, rest, take some meds. They gave me some meds and they said, it will just go down slowly as we see when it maybe goes away, and then now we'll start giving you the vitamins for your pregnancy. So first day, second day, third day, it ruptured, my friend. That pain is, I can even feel it now. That
Wow.
pain is ridiculous. It's a sharp pain, it's a stabbing pain, all of it at once.
Mm.
And then somehow you just don't have strength in your legs. It's a very bad, bad, bad pain. So I had it and I passed out because the pain was very unbearable. So when I went to the hospital and they ran some tests and they said, you know what, it ruptured. Good thing it's not septic. If it was septic, then you'd go for like a surgical cleaning or something on the uterus. So it was not, I thank God it was not septic. So that it just, when nearly burst, it just went away like that. So
Mm.
now I was in a dilemma of now, hey, now this pregnancy for 2 months, where do I take it? Because this is
Yeah.
not going to go away,
Yeah.
So, funny thing with my pregnancy journey is I never had any issues with my pregnancy. I had issues with my circle, people around me. Like I had Ruth in your podcast say,
Yeah.
you need people to take care of you while you're taking care of someone else.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah. So this whole journey first, I didn't have anyone to tell that I was pregnant. It was no news, as in it's nothing I would, I was excited about. I was confused. I was just,
Mm-hmm.
disappointed at myself. I didn't have anyone to tell apart from maybe the father of my child. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, so what do I do next? Do I have an abortion? But it was on top of my list. I will not lie. Have an
Yeah.
abortion because you know what? I'm not married. I do not want to be attacked in
Yeah.
any way or be a single mom. That's not what I pictured.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sally. So I told the father of my child finally, and he said, "I am not ready."
Wow.
And I said, "Okay, cool. So what do I do?" And he said, "You can get an abortion." And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "It's 2 months. I'm going 3 months now, and I have a feeling about this pregnancy, and I don't think getting rid of it will be like my closure." And he said, "Okay, well, then you're on your own." And I
Mm.
said, "Cool." So at that time, we used to live together, but on and off because I had my own. At that time, I was still doing my medical course. So I had my
Mm-hmm.
own room in the
Mm-hmm.
campus, and also I was staying outside campus with him. So he said, "You know what? You just find your own space. If you want to keep the baby, you can keep the baby. That's on you. Like, I'm not in any way, I don't want to be involved." So I said, cool, sawa sawa. I was still in pain because the pain for the ruptured cyst goes away after a couple of weeks. Sorry. Sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry.
He's fallen, Amma.
Mm-mm. Just the attention.
He just wants mama. Oh man.
You know,
So
he's wondering why I'm in a room. Yeah. So he's
uh,
wondering why I'm not with him in the sitting room watching what he's doing.
yeah.
We go. Okay, we go.
Oh, he sounds so sweet and cute though.
Okay, let's go. Okay, wants us to go to the sitting room. Okay, let's go. So, Sally, the
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy was due going to 3 months. I had to do it alone. Now, the good thing with my pregnancy is I had no morning sicknesses, no cravings, nothing. It was just pure bliss. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Then, when I was, 6 months, I had a second cyst that just went away naturally,
Mm-hmm.
also, but it did not burst. It didn't do anything. So, it
Mm-hmm.
was good. Then, when I was 8 months, the baby of the child came into the picture and he said, "You know what? Let's try this." I was like, "Try? You want us to try this? You're
Mm.
either in or gone, you know?" So, my pregnancy was a lonely one. That's what I can say. Most weekends I was alone because, as much as he said he wants to be part of it, he was MIA. So, with all the visits I went to, do you know he attended like one or two? Two. He only attended two of
Mm-hmm.
them. So I felt my dad told me, not even my dad. This is someone I call my dad because I don't have parents. Now that's the whole where this whole emotional thing came. I had
Yeah.
no one to guide me, no one to tell me what to do or come home, let me take care of you. I had
Mm-hmm.
Ruth saying, "Oh, the mother was coming to visit or taking care of her." I wish I had that. I never had.
Yeah.
See, and I'm the eldest. We are only two, so me and my sister. So there's no one to take care of me. No one. So
Yeah.
it's either if you sleep hungry, that's on you. If you're sick, that's on you. If blah 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 about your pregnancy, that's on you. You see.
Mm-hmm.
So he had only two visits when he came for the scans, two visits, and then finally when I was going for I planned everything where I would give birth, who my gyna will be,
Mm-hmm.
baby clothes, baby shower, everything, just coming to place. But I was doing it alone. Friends,
Yeah.
yes, but the whole thing, like I didn't have a support system. You
Yeah.
see, which I usually I wouldn't put anyone in my position. I just would love if every mother had a support system. A
Yeah.
husband, a friend, a spouse, something. So this journey made me very soft, and I was a very tough person.
Yeah.
So it made me so soft. And I was like, is this the motherly, thing that is kicking in, or is just me losing it? So I went in for my delivery, but now my pregnancy I was past 42 weeks. Funny thing, my baby was too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
He was 4.8 at then. So this is my final scan.
Mm-hmm.
I have passed my due date by around 2 weeks. You can imagine. Due date in my Peter 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I go for my final scan. The baby's 4.8 and he's healthy. He's just playing inside there. But I told the doctor, you know what, I can't stay with this pregnancy like this. It's big, it's heavy, it's pulling me down, it's painful now. You see. So she
Mm-hmm.
said, you know what? Let's induce you. Will you allow that? So she told me that, the pros and cons about being induced. And I said, at the end of the day, you know what? You are professional. So if you decide it's healthy for me and a baby, then let's do it. So I made arrangements for the procedure. So I went into the hospital, let's say on a Monday. They got me induced.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work. Said the baby was too heavy or something. It didn't work. So they told me just sleep. The next day we'll try something else. Then I went to sleep that night to just mild cramps. So the doctor kept calling me and asking, "How are the pain?" I was like, "I'm not feeling anything. It's just kawaida cramps that I can handle." So she said, with inducing, you're supposed to feel some pain mbaya sana. I was like,
Mm.
hey, okay. So this pain mbaya sana, I'm not having it. So she said, okay, we'll try it tomorrow. So the next day she came in, another induction.
Mm-hmm.
So I started feeling some pain. The baby started moving. And then, you know how they say they check if you're ripe and your cervix is opening and all that. So my cervix was it was getting ripe or something, but
Mm-hmm.
my water was not broken yet. So even if I was supposed to give birth, maybe he would come out with the whole sack. So someone had to get in there and bust the whole thing, the whole sack. It was very painful because I was very sore. So I could imagine if I'm sore now, how about now going to give birth? So the gyna made it happen. She passed the sac, and then I started having like active labor. So I
Yeah.
went into labor, and my labor took 2 hours, 15 minutes. I don't know if it's a short time or
It's
people are
a
telling me, oh, that was very short.
Yeah, that's a very short time actually. But then you have to think that you went in there a couple of days before.
Yeah, but now a couple of days before with no pain, I was just
Yeah.
eating,
Yeah.
sleeping, you know, eating,
Uh-huh.
sleeping, and
Just
eating and
enjoying
eating
your
and just walking
life.
and seeing people and thinking they're misbehaving. And I'm thinking, get it together. In my head, I'm thinking, you know.
Yeah.
So I was in no pain. So I was very comfortable for those 2 days, so
Mhm.
nothing was happening. So my labor was 2 hours, 15 minutes. Then I went in for now the whole thing. So my baby was too heavy. So he didn't score. Usually, when you give birth, they score your baby according to how loud they cry or something. So my baby scored, I remember, a 6 out of 10. He didn't cry. Actually, his heart stopped for a few seconds during the delivery. So when he came out, he was big, and I was like, yo, by the way, he's very big. But he was not crying. So I could just see the nurses turning him, slapping him on his ass. You know what? The pumping, putting some, the suction pipes inside
Yeah.
his mouth. And they just, resuscitating. And I'm like, don't tell me. All
Yeah.
these months. And then I kind of lose my baby now. So after, do you know, like they got him back after 3 minutes?
How are you feeling during those 3 minutes?
I think I was just like, I had, like, I was numb. I was numb, and I felt so much like shame. Like if I come out of here, I'm coming out without a baby. How do I even start telling people? How do I even start? How do I even start like living now? I look back to, this whole thing, this whole journey I had prepared with a baby, clothes, everything, So how
Yeah.
do I even start living here without one? So my baby came back after 3 minutes. He didn't even cry much. He just cried kidogo. So they're saying, you know what, that when the heart stops, we can say we have brain asphyxia, like lack of oxygen in the brain. So it might cause some brain damage. I was like, hey, you people are using crude words right now.
Yeah.
Just, so go and check. So they said they'll check him for like a few days to see if there's any damage caused in his lungs, brain. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have him for the night. So he left. I didn't carry him. I didn't touch him. I didn't see him. So after the delivery process, I was told, okay, you can go see him in the nursery, but you can't hold him.
Mm.
I was like, you can't hold him. Why? So I just said it. Okay, let me just go. So I went. He had he had what? The oxygen mask, pipes, but he was a very big baby, very big. And they said, oh, they're trying to monitor if he can breathe well because he didn't cry. So we don't know if his lungs, are okay.
Yeah.
And since he was out for 3 minutes, his heart stopped for 3 minutes. We're supposed to check if there's any damage caused or something. All this time I was just tired. That kind of, your heart feels heavy. And at that time I have no one, like, I have no parents. I have no elder siblings. I was just alone, let me just say.
And so, like, no one was
So
with you in the hospital. You're just you.
I was just maybe walking, like, hey, I was on my way to work or from work. I come and say hi to friends.
Yeah.
But, like, like how you'd pick up your phone and say, Mama, where are you? I need this, I need that, blah, blah, blah. I didn't have that. So it really put me down,
Mm-hmm.
So the baby daddy was there, the father of my child was there, but also his behavior was like one leg in, one leg out.
I
Like
get.
if it's good, if life is good, he's there. If it's worst case scenario, he's missing. So at the end of the day, I felt, if I lose this baby, I don't think I'll even engage myself again. So day one, day two, he started making very quick recovery. So the pediatrician there was telling me, I'm Totoko, this is the first. Heavy babies usually come out with a lot of, a lot of complications.
Mm.
So you're the first of the babies I've treated. This is the first, like very heavy, but no complications. So he started breathing on his own.
Mm-hmm.
He started crying. He was not crying. He was just there. He started to cry, and then now feeding because now he was using formula at that time, and me, I was full of milk, full, and it was painful, and I had a fever. At some point, I thought I had malaria. So my gyna
Mm-hmm.
told me, you know what? When your milk is full like that, you might get a fever. So I asked her if I can start breastfeeding the baby. She said yes, but under a close monitor, like someone should monitor you and the baby. Do you know when I put him on like to feed, he just clutched like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And and he just started feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding. He's 4.8, so you can imagine feeding a 4.8.
Yeah.
And he started feeding, and then he like paused, barked, and I was like, hata sijakuinua bado already usha bark. And then the nurse came in and said, okay, turn him to the next feet. I was like, the next breast. I was like, kwani hajashiba? I was like, hey, apana bado. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bab. I'm like, no, 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 not yet. You see how his stomach is? I was like, hey. Again, feeding, 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 feeding. And the clothes I had bought for like a 1 month baby didn't fit. So actually, he was wearing a 3 month old baby clothes. So he was so huge, Paka. Sometimes, like if I fall asleep feeding, my arms would just go numb. So while I was at the hospital, I realized I had a lump on my private area. I had a
Mm-hmm.
lump.
Mm-hmm.
So it was so, what can I say, sensitive. It was
Mm-hmm.
so I asked my gyna what could be wrong. She said, how long have you had this? And I said, since delivery. And she was like, come, I check you. So we went. So she checked me. She said, you know what? There's blood had the person who like stitched me up and he
Mm-hmm.
stitched, I think, her artery or something, stitched a vein. So there's
Mm.
blood that is just talking up there. It's not moving. There's no
Mm-hmm.
blood flow there. So you can imagine if, let's say, I don't even know which word to use so I don't sound vulgar.
It's okay.
One,
Whatever.
it's the like one-sided of my clitoris. If it didn't have the blood supply, it should have been cut off. So if I go to surgery, they say if it was dead, they should have cut it off. So I can imagine how it would look like as a woman. So
Yeah.
you not be confident after that. So I asked her, what do we do? She said, let us just go for let me prep for you the operation room, and then we'll see what's happening down there. Then I said, hey, I'm not even healed. My stitches are still fresh. You still want
Yeah.
to go down there and touch me? And she said, you know what, you just have to. Otherwise, things will start dying down there and you will not
Yeah.
like it.
Mm.
So she prepped while I fed the baby. So she told me she's ready. So I went to the operation room. I was awake, but I could feel some discomfort. And while she was there, I just told her, you know what, because I don't have any next of kin or anyone, you should just talk to me. You know what's happening. Tell me what you're doing. So she was telling me that there was no blood supply. There's something that was stitched up. There's a
Mm-hmm.
vein that was stitched, so there's no blood supply. So the blood came and then gets stuck there. So that's why it's like I had a bulb. So I told her what next. So she said she's going to release the blood. Then she's going to try to find a way that she's going to maybe repair that vein. Then I said, rate of 1 to 10, how like the repair is it gonna work? She said, let me see the damage. So she went in there. She found it was not badly off. So she said, oh, as usual, will chomelea, as usual what? So it
Oh
stops
no.
bleeding, something.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hey, I said chomelea. She's like,
Man.
yes, I'm going to burn that vein. So it stops. So it's like, so I'm going to have stitches, a burn, and a cut at the same time. Yes, that's what we're going to have. A burn, a cut, and stitches. For a second, I was like, yeah. So am I ever gonna sit down? She said yes, but in a lot of pain. You're going to be in a lot of pain. Hata tukikupatia painkillers, you will still feel it. I said, and what about the structure? You have to be very What about the structure? Will it change? Because now you're doing things down there I'm not seeing. So
Yeah.
I'm going to try to make it as normal as possible. So, and like when maybe when you're with your hubby, he doesn't notice maybe some abnormalities. So she did what she did. Suddenly I was in pain. Ah, pain, anesthesia, ilikuwa imewear out. So I
Mm-hmm.
needed to go to the bathroom. I had a catheter, but the catheter it was making me very sore.
Yeah.
I was in so much pain. So I said, just remove the catheter because it's just making me uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So they removed it. So I had to go to pee. I thought I'm having other babies. It was
Mm.
so painful. And then there's a stitch where when I sit, it gets tighter. Like it just. So I asked,
Oh.
how am I gonna do it? She said, oh, you have to squat because if you go sit all the way down 90 degrees, you will get tight back ushanga. And I was like, okay, so now what? I have to pee while standing. So you can imagine that. So I have to go to the shower, open the shower, magic in Mwagikia is when I pee. Because if I sit, the stitch gets tighter. So it gets very uncomfortable. So you can
Yeah.
imagine you being, just tight. It was so uncomfortable. It took me what? A week. My baby was getting better. Then we got discharged. But now, eh, sitting down was a problem. So I used to breastfeed my son while standing. I would stand 2 hours, 3 hours, or just lean on a wall, something. If I sit down, there's a pain. Alafu, the heat between the burnt area. You remember Selenia had somewhere that was supposed to be burnt so that the artery does not like produce a lot of blood.
Yeah.
So when it gets heated up, like my body temperature changes kidogo.
Mm-hmm.
I could get like a blister or something. I felt okay. I think the father of my child felt okay. Now this is too much. I've neglected her for a while. Let me just come in. Fully blown akakuja, saidia, washing clothes, taking care of the baby. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Started healing. All that therapy I told us, sit on hot water, salted water, all that. And one day I had to go for my last appointment. Then my guy was telling me, you have to go and get a mirror and see what is going on down there. I was like, hey, me, I don't want to see. You just treat me, take care of me. Tell me what you want me to do, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to check. She told me, oh, so that when you're asked about what's going on or what's missing, I was like, is there something missing? And she told me, um, there's a scar you will see or you can feel. So I said, okay, fine. So I went and saw the whole scar thing. So I just said, what, at the end of the day, if someone asks me or whoever, my husband to be or something, I will just say, he knows where it came from. So it's not something that he self-inflicted or something. So it took me 3 months to heal. 3 months to heal. My
Mm-hmm.
baby was so perfect, but now he was heavy, so he couldn't put him to sleep on a very full stomach. You get
Mm-hmm.
when you get a heavy baby, you're told he shouldn't be very full because when you put him to sleep and he's very full, breathing becomes a problem.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he becomes like he will start snoring or something or behave like someone who has sinuses. Or later when he grows up he will have heavy breathing like those
Mm.
people who you hear they breathe very heavily. Yeah, it started uko when they were young, and the whole pregnancy thing was that it was so easy for me, effortless and everything, but I don't know, mentally I was not okay,
Yeah.
physically disrupted, and every
Yeah.
other way of connection it was just going. And I felt like I always feel like I'm always the one who's 10 steps ahead. If it
What
now, okay, like you and
what
your
do you
hubby,
mean?
you'd feel
Mm-hmm.
like you're always. like let's say you and a hubby, you always feel like you're the one who's always what do I say? You're the one who always knows what to do, where to
Mm-hmm.
go,
Mm-hmm.
or who to ask, or such things, you know,
Yeah.
or just be on toes with your child. You know, you feel like
Mm-hmm.
he's not doing much. So I used to be told, oh, where were you thinking that you're doing too much? And I'm also doing the same as you. And I'm thinking, no, me, I'm just overdoing it. I'm the one who's being overworked. So my sister was telling me, just give it a chance, you know, just put it in your head that everyone is trying to help you. Not that you're helping yourself and everyone else is just seated. But up to now, that's what I'm feeling. I feel
Yeah.
like right now I don't have a nanny. I had to quit my job because of my son, and I just feel I'm the one who's always on hands. Like when the baby's gonna eat, what the baby's gonna eat, when he's gonna sleep, you
Yeah.
know, how he's
Yeah.
going to spend his day, and you feel like the other party is not contributing as much. I
Yeah.
sound selfish, but I sound selfish, but I just feel
No.
like that. That's how I basically feel. I think I'm just quick to point out what someone else is doing, a mistake or something, you know.
Mm.
Like, mbona utakuja mapema? Or even if I'm supposed to do something, I make sure I'm on time, you know.
Yeah.
I'm on time. Or if I have to go somewhere, I have to be, you know, at the back of my mind, my son. I'm like, Pula nini, what time is he gonna sleep? Is he comfortable? Is he okay? Him on the other side, he's not
Mm.
even bothered. You know, he's gone. He's like, mommy will take care of it, you know? And I feel so much pressure until the point where I feel like, it's just, I'm okay doing it alone, you know?
Yeah.
Which is a bad thing. It's a very bad thing. But at the end of the day, I think when you become a mom, everything just changes. The gear just shifts. Like the way you're saying, you just took a drive and you felt like, you know, you don't want him to come back anytime soon. Those days are very many to come. As your baby
Mm.
grows, he'll be demanding, and plus your husband will be demanding also. But now you have to just choose priorities, you know, prioritize
Yeah.
who first. But you have to
Mm.
also explain to him why you are prioritizing your daughter first. You know, just say,
Yeah,
you know, she's
definitely.
helpless. She
Mm.
needs us, you know. But also, I don't know if they're just grown babies. They'll just think, you know, you don't want them anymore. You don't love them anymore. You don't pay attention anymore. And, you know, and then
Yeah.
my son, with time, he had, okay, people, boys his age would speak, you know. Walking was no problem. He walked in when he was 1 year old.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came to like speech, I noticed that he was not as quick like his age mates. So I came to realize the worst thing we did, or I can't even say it's worse because it's paying off anyway.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. You know those
Mm.
times you're too tired and you're feeling, let me get rid of this one with a
Yeah.
YouTube something channel or something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know he was too quiet because okay, the environment we are in, children speak Swahili. And he
Yeah.
would go out and he would just be quiet. I wouldn't understand why. And I would ask, you know, you understand Swahili, Baba, why don't you just speak it? All this
Mm-hmm.
time, imagine my son didn't understand Swahili, he understood English because of watching YouTube. So, and this I realized after giving time when I resigned from my work, when I started concentrating on my son,
Yeah.
is when I realized that okay, so he understands more of English. So we engaged in more of English words. And do you
Mm-hmm.
know, like he started opening up and he would say, Mama, water. Mama, poo. Mama, I
Mm-hmm.
wanna go. Mama, sleep. And I was like, hey, this one knows everything. I think it's just the language. There's a barrier of communication that he never understood. Which language is this? When you tell him, turn it to Lale, he'll just look at you. When you say, let's go sleep, he will go. And then I think the type of the channels on YouTube he used to watch was UK English, UK something.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell him, give me, he will laugh. But if you
Mm-hmm.
ask him, why are you laughing, Baba? And he says, it's not give me, it's give me. Mama, it's give me, give me. I was like, give me is not English, it's just slang. And he's like,
Yeah.
no, you say give me. And you ask him why, he says, it takes too much time to say give me. So you just say give me. So when we started engaging in English words and speaking in English, he was so fluent. Hadi, we were like, hey, we are so blessed then.
Yeah.
We were thinking it's we are such a loss. Like he's not speaking in his 4 years, and then we wouldn't go to occasions because we wouldn't want to be bashed at it. Oh, you're not exposing your son to social life or something. Play
Mm-hmm.
dates would be bashed with friends, relatives. So Zileza, we wouldn't go anywhere because
Yeah.
we didn't want to be to be judged. So when we started to realize that he understands English words and not Swahili, and we know, so tukasema tu, at the end of the day, that's what he's learning. But
Yeah.
now the
Yeah.
problem is self-esteem. When we go like for play dates and he says something and something like, what, just an English word, children would start laughing and say, we have a Semanini. What is
Mm-hmm.
Semanini? They start laughing. And he'll just look at me and say, Mama, did I say something wrong? And I said, no, you're very right. It's them, they
Oh.
don't understand you. And I'll say, you are very right. You are very right. It's the correct thing you're saying, but you know what? They don't understand English. So shame on them. Shame
Mm-hmm.
on them. They don't understand. So self-esteem, he didn't want to go out. He said, Brian, Kevin doesn't understand me. So every time I say something in English, he said I'm a bougie boy. I should go to Kilimani. So he
Yeah.
started getting nicknames. So
Mm-hmm.
as a mom, I felt I no, you know, this is
Yeah.
not what is going to happen. I'm gonna go out there with when he's playing and tell people, you know what, if you're not going to speak English to my son, wachana naye. Or if they laugh, I say, hata wewe ujui kizungu, oh now we ujui kizungu.
Mm-hmm.
And people will start laughing also at them and say, yeah, you don't even know how to speak in English and Marcus knows English. So we're just building his self-esteem,
Yeah.
just being there for him for even 2 seconds, and then you can let him be now. So ndo aende ajenge confidence yake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was a whole the speech thing was a whole it was very bad. It was a bash from left, right, and center. Oh, Nambua goes to and cut his what? It's called what? This thingy down at the back, right? I say you should cut that, or you see this thing that holds your lip down under your
Yeah.
lip on under your tongue. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
actually, you should be cut. Just speak faster. There's a whole bunch of traditions with these things of speech. Don't give him blue band, don't give him milk. I was being told don't do what? Oh, you should not take sugar. Hey, there's a lot of things if I had followed. I don't know if I would have my son right now. So I've been told,
Yeah.
jamkata kilini. Oh, you should remove his teeth. And I was like, that's very painful because now you can imagine if I told him no and it's not even shaking, how
Yeah.
did that even feel? I don't understand, but there's everyone who's giving you opinions about their own kind of parenting and I don't know what traditions they follow. If a child Suju is born and cannot speak or Suju cannot walk, all those things.
Yeah.
So I said, Mimi, I was just full. I went to a therapist, a speech therapist, and he said, you know what, your son is very bright. He's a genius, actually. This guy tells me of birds and things that a 4-year-old can't even mention. He tells
Mm-hmm.
me, he just told me eagle eats snakes and eagle eats only meaty things. So don't give an eagle vegetables. This is something that a 4-year-old can come up with. So it's just self-esteem, your environment. If you think you can change your environment, you can change it. But no, I said I can't because again, finances. You can just go live in Runda just because my son speaks English, so he can't relate. No, you just have to make the surrounding, better for him, and
Mm-hmm.
also just give him the confidence. He is saying the right thing,
Yeah.
you know. So the speech therapy, he didn't Plus, he didn't charge me. He said, you know what, you just came in, but between me and you, I'm not going to charge you because there's nothing here I'm doing. You see, your child can speak, but I think with
Mm-hmm.
just confidence and self esteem, you're going to have to work on that. There's no like treatment or any plan I can give you. You know, this is up to you as a mother. You go and build up his confidence. And I said, what? And this whole thing, I just said, you know what, I'm not going to talk to people. Let me just talk to God and see where He's going to guide me with my son. At the end of the day, He gave me my son out of desperate situations and very bad days of my life, my downtimes. But you know what? I'll just ask Him, you know, where do you want me to lead this boy?
Mm.
How do you want me to mold him, you know, as a mom? Because at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, every mother wants, you know, the perfect life for their kids, you know, a
Yeah.
perfect milestone, you know? Yes. Um, I'll just say at the end of the day, there's no manual for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Motherhood will just come naturally. You will feel you're doing it alone, but you know, I think everyone else is just too scared to do it because they're not sure if it's the right thing. But since you're the mother, I think it's just something all mothers should, you know, allow yourself to like be confident with yourself that you're doing the right thing. Even if it's the wrong thing, you will learn from it. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's your son. There's no one else who's going to take chances and say, this is Sally's daughter. Let me try and do this for her.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's up to Sally to decide if she's going to do it or not.
Yeah.
See, and also, um, this thing we say, I don't know why I keep relating to it. We said you just go and drive
You disappear
and just you
from
don't
the
want to
kids.
go back.
Yeah.
Hmm? Do you know you have more of this coming when your daughter is older? Like
Yeah.
you can't leave her. She knows you're leaving. She wants to live with you.
Mm-hmm.
She's crying tantrums, and they'll be so bad. Yani Baka, you just have to recollect yourself in the same room where there's just all that chaos. I don't even know how to tell you. There's no math behind it. Like, do you imagine yourself in the most chaotic room? Probably your hubby is there with an attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know about yours. Mine has most of the time. He's just the one with attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And your daughter is there crying, or maybe you don't know if she's sick or coming up with something. Your nanny is not doing what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And you just need to go away. And you can't go because now you're the one who left work. You don't
Yeah.
have any, you're not earning. Remember,
Yeah.
you're not earning. You're dependent on someone. And let's say maybe your account is not as, you know, high
Healthy.
smile.
Yeah.
It's not healthy. So, and plus, okay, let me just say in my position, I don't have a car. I could say, let me just go and drive in and go. So you just say, you know what, just just relax fast because no one is going to do it for you. At the end of the day, your husband needs you, your child needs you, your nanny, whoever else. So you just pretend they're not there and just
Yeah.
block everything. Just block them and then just for a second, maybe immediately say a short prayer. Like, you know what, God, just take me into your arms and comfort me and let me understand that every other thing that is happening around me is out of my control. And I just breathe. And then I recollect myself and I say, okay, I look at my son, what do you want? Okay, you want this take. You want this take. I look at my husband. Do you need us to talk about something? Okay. And he says he vents up and I hear him. But I ask myself in my head, why am I always the bigger person? Like I'm always the one
Yeah.
to approach you and you're the one with the issue you get.
Mm-hmm.
So I just listen. Within 1 hour, you're done. Everyone is so calm, including yourself. And you say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let me just go and sleep.
So that's part one of her story. We will pick it up from here on the next episode. I remember listening to her birth recovery journey with like my mouth wide open because I couldn't imagine that pain that she was going through. Even after 4 years, like it's still very, very fresh in her mind. I could also feel the loneliness and despair that she felt when she had to do quite a bit of this journey alone. And just like she said, I don't think that's anything that you would wish on anybody. And it just definitely gives me further appreciation for having a great support system around me, even if I complain. But sometimes you just have to always just check the privilege that you have, because so many others would want it, but they just don't have it. We'll dig deeper into this the next time, but for now, I will end this episode here. As always, thanks for listening, and look out for part 2 in the next 2 weeks. Remember, if you wish to share your story on the podcast, it's really easy. Just reach out to me on Instagram at salimogore or on email at mamatilspod@gmail.com. I'll leave this all in the description or show notes of this episode. So stay warm and see you in the next 2 weeks. Bye.